Hello friends, I welcome you all to this channel Exam Pandit. In this video, I will be discussing the expected question pattern for IBPS RRB PO pre-2019. So friends, whenever you are preparing for any examination, firstly you need to be familiar with the type of questions asked and what are the syllabus it is going to cover with. So you need to be familiar with that firstly. Okay, so that is why it is always advisable to go through the syllabus of the exam first, then only you can go ahead. Okay. So as you all know, IBPS RRB Officer Scale 1 examination, that is IBPS RRB PO Prelims exam, is scheduled to be held on 3rd, 4th and 11th August 2019 tentatively. So in this video I will be discussing how to prepare for IBPS RRB Officer Scale 1 with the help of correct syllabus here. Okay. So before making any move for the examination, it is very important to have a proper idea of the syllabus and exam pattern. Okay, so if you don't know, you just go through the syllabus once. So, but before that, let me tell you, there are two sections should be asked particularly in this exam. One is quant, another one is reasoning here. Okay, so before we make a move ahead with the discussion, let me tell you, to have a high quality of mock test, you can visit ibpsguide.com. The link is given in the description. Okay, so let us take the first section as quantitative aptitude here. So in this section of IBPS RRB PO will consist of 40 questions. Each question carries 1 mark for each of the 40 questions, which will lead to the total weightage of 40 marks here out of the total 80 questions. So get familiar with the concepts of the topics which I have discussed here. See here, friends. In the last year, from the last year examination, IBPS had made a very drastic change in the way they were conducting the exams. Because so earlier, if a pattern is coming in the first shift, the same pattern was repeating in all the different shifts. But from on the last year, so if some topics are asked in one session, the same topics may not be repeated in the other sessions. So I will be discussing the general topics which are important from the point of view of IBPS RRB PO examination. Okay. So the first important concept is simplification or approximation. So this concept is very important. This is very important and must do topic for the IBPS RRB exam. Okay. So there is a possibility of total 5 to 10 questions from this topic of IBPS RRB exam. So you can solve all the questions from simplification and approximation in lesser time if your calculation speed is good. And one more thing you need to understand here is you need to follow only BODMAS rule here. So you need to follow only BODMAS rule while solving the simplification or approximation questions. For that reason, you should know the tables from 1 to 30 and the squares up to 50. Okay, and the cubes up to 30. You need to be familiar with this so that you can solve it in a very less time. Okay, so practice a good number of questions of different levels from this topic to perform well in the IBPS RRB PO's examination. Okay, so this is about simplification and approximation. So the next important topic is number series here. Okay, this is another important and must do the topic for IBPS RRB PO exam. So you can expect the total number of questions from this topic are 5 questions. Okay, 5 questions you can expect from this topic. So there are some patterns of number series which you should definitely know. So there are square patterns, cube patterns, prime number pattern, multiplication and difference pattern. Along with that, practice questions of different patterns of lower and higher levels as well. So the more you practice different patterns, the less time you take to recognize the pattern in the examination. So therefore, it is advisable to go through this topic as much as possible to solve maximum number of questions from this topic. So out of the 5 questions, you can solve all the 5 questions, or minimum you can solve is 4. So if you have practiced well, so the maximum can be 5. 5 can be solved very easily. Okay. The next important topic is quadratic equations. So this topic can have 5 questions. Okay, this topic can have 5 questions. So this is not a tough topic if you are well familiar with the concept. So also there is a certain formulas to solve the equations as well. So but then it is not advisable to go solve the quadratic equations with the help of formula like Sridhara's rule or the traditional way we used to solve for. So it is not advisable that. So practice them well. In this topic, you are required to identify the factors of the equations and then solve the question. So based on this, you need to identify the relationship of x and y here. Okay, the relationship of x and y here. So that is why if you have practice, then only you can attend these questions. So otherwise, it may not be possible for you to attend the questions from this topic. So it is my advice to go through this topic before going for the examination. Okay. The next important topic is data interpretation here. So this is the topic which is a good weightage section. So it will be having a very great weightage. Okay. Before practicing questions of data interpretation, be familiar with the concepts of averages. Okay. Then ratios. Then percentages. Then profit and loss. So because the questions of data interpretation revolve around these topics only. Okay, average, ratios, percentage, profit and loss. Only on this topic the questions should be asked. So you can expect the total number of questions from this topic are 10. Okay, you can expect 10 questions from this topic. So data interpretations of various types, which includes a tabular chart, line graph, bar graph, pie chart, paragraph based DI, that is caselets. Then mixed data interpretation, as well as newly introduced, that is missing data interpretation, would also be asked. So but then if missing data interpretation is asked, so it is not advisable to do it in the beginning. If the time permits at last, you just try it out. Otherwise don't do it in the beginning itself. Okay, since it is preliminary examination, there is a high possibility of tabular data interpretation, line, bar graph, mixed data interpretation, caselets, and caselets and missing DI are less likely to come, but otherwise tabular DI, line, bar graph may be asked, but then mixed data interpretation, caselets and missing data interpretation would not be asked in the prelims examination. So you need to be careful about that. Okay, don't worry about mixed DI, caselets and missing DI, but then sometimes caselets would be asked. So have a practice of that also. Okay. The next one is miscellaneous, right? Miscellaneous. So in this miscellaneous part, there are 1 to 2 questions from the topic of arithmetic, resulting in 10 questions overall. So the topic of averages here. So averages, then ratios. After that, percentage, profit and loss. Then profit and loss, discount, partnership, time and work and wages, mixture and allegation, boards and streams, probability, etc. So these kind of questions may be asked from miscellaneous. So my advice is always, so try to solve simplification and approximation. Okay, then go for number series, then quadratic equation. After that, try data interpretation. If missing DI or caselet DI is given, try it out at the last. And if you look at miscellaneous questions would be sometimes easy. I mean, it will be easy. So but then you know the concept. If you don't know the concept, you cannot make it. So to excel, so you need to be familiar with this. But then if you are preparing for the first time and if you have not know any of the arithmetic based concepts, just try it out, these 4 important concepts very well. Okay, so you can expect total of 10 questions from this topic. So it may be 10 plus 20, 30, 40. Okay, 10, 10, 20, 30 and 40. So have a practice. Sometimes there are different topics like data sufficiency would be asked, and so many other topics are there. So those topics may be asked in the examination. Okay, so this is about quantitative aptitude. Let us go ahead with the next important topic, one of my favorite topics, that is reasoning ability. Okay, so as you all know, so total number of questions are asked from this topic are 40 questions. Okay, see here, there is no sectional time limit for for reasoning ability or quantitative aptitude in this exam. So each of these questions should be carrying 1 mark. So that is total of 40 marks should be asked from this topic only. So practice the important topics which I have mentioned here to score well in the exam. Okay, the first important topic is inequalities. So this is an important topic through which you can easily score 5 marks in IBPS RRB PO exam. So total of 5 questions should be asked. Okay, total of 5 questions should be asked in from this topic. The questions can be of direct inequality. Okay, the questions can be direct inequality, and or it can be coded inequality. It can be coded inequality as well. Okay, it can be direct inequality or coded inequality. So cover different pattern of that are asked in IBPS RRB exams and practice a good number of questions of different levels to be well familiar with the with all patterns of questions. Okay, so inequalities, 5 questions should be there. It can be direct inequality or coded inequality. So there will be you can easily score 5 marks just in 2 minutes. It will not take much time. Just in 2 minutes you can take up good amount of marks on this topic. So the next important topic is syllogism. So syllogism, this is another scoring topic for this section. You can expect total of 5 questions from this topic. Okay, so now a new pattern syllogism has been introduced in IBPS RRB exam, in which the conclusions should be given in the questions and statements are given as the options. Okay, so practice this type of questions as well. Alright, so practice those kind of questions as well. Also practice the concepts of the whole pattern as well. In IBPS RRB PO prelims exam, it is higher possibility of getting older pattern of syllogism question. So you may not get the new pattern of syllogism in which the conclusions will be given in the question and the options should be the statements. It will not be like that. So the vice versa questions should be asked over here. Okay. The next topics are miscellaneous. So this includes the important topics like blood relations, then direction sense, ranking and ordering, then alphanumeric series. So generally the total number of questions asked from this topic are 5 to 10 questions can be asked from this topic. So you can expect 2 to 3 questions from blood relations. Okay, and 1 to 2 questions from direction sense. So 1 to 2 from order and ranking and 5 from alphanumeric series. So be familiar with all these type of questions so that you can do well and do all the questions very well. Okay, so if whenever you're solving reasoning ability questions, solve inequalities first, then solve syllogism, then go for the miscellaneous questions like blood relations. Only 2 to 3 questions should be there. It will not be so complex. Okay, direction sense, it will not be so complex. Ranking and ordering, so it will not be so complex. Alphanumeric series will also be not so complex. You can do it, excel it very easily. So after these 2 important topics, try this out. Okay, the next important topic is seating arrangement and puzzles. Okay, you can expect the total number of questions from this topic are 10 to 15 questions you can expect from puzzles and seating arrangement topic only. So seating arrangement include linear arrangement, so circular arrangement, square arrangement. So these are the 3 kinds of arrangements you may expect it in the exam. So but when it comes to puzzles, the puzzle maybe it can be sequence based puzzle, scheduling based puzzle, so comparison based puzzle, double lineup based puzzles. So practice higher level questions of puzzles and seating arrangement. Only regular practice is the key to solve these questions quickly. So practice well so that you can do well in the actual exam, friends. So these are the important topics you need to be familiar with to excel in the preliminary examinations. So practice well so that you can do well in the actual exam, friends. So I hope this video is helpful to you for preparing IBPS RRB PO's examination 2018 that is going to be held in the next month. So it is not too far. So start your preparation now itself. Okay. So I will not take up much of your time. So this is all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day ahead. So before ending up this session, I request you to subscribe to our channel, like the video, share the video with your friends, and if you have any doubts, please let us know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.